Hey everyone, in this video I will show you how to make this 3D portal system. So here I can look around this portal and point to this tree and I can enter the portal and I can teleport to that location, and here I can seamlessly travel back to the portal like this, and I can go back again. I can look around and point to this tree like this, and we can also do that with a different map. So this is a third person map. So if I look at this cube and enter the portal, I can enter out of this third person map. So here you can see that all of these portal systems, these are all one Niagara system and one material, but the parameters are tweaked a little bit, so we get this different looks. These are all just one material. So here I can see another map, so I can look at this plant and go in, and since this is a different map, it won't be that seamless because loading in, but you can still point to anywhere you want and come out of the other end like this. Or here I can look at this tree and go in and point to that tree. So here I can get this pink cube and go in, and here I have this another map. I can go into that, and here we can pick this cubes and go into that, and here also you can see this another map. Here we can look around like this and we can just go in. So here we will be teleported in here like this, or I can look at this and go in and come out like that. So once you finish the tutorial, it will be really easy to set up your own portal. So I will show you how easy it is. So you can just drag in this portal. So this is an empty portal, right? So now if you look at this, you can create a static texture from it. So it has all the information we need. And now if I go here and drag in the portal again, and I can move it up, and then right click and create a static texture. I can get this texture. So we want this portal 6 to connect to portal 5. So we can select portal 5 here, and for the portal 5 we can select portal 6. And here for the portal 6 we can just give this texture we created, and for the portal 5 we can give this texture we created. And one more thing we need to do is give the level name. So it is a green island. So this is a green island. Just copy that and paste the level name. So both of them should have the same level name because it is in the same level. And once this is done, you can just portal to it like this. It's really easy. You can see that and you can go into that. So you can create any number of portals. So here you can see that this is a static texture and the waterfall isn't showing. So if you really want to show the water animation, you can also do that too. So now here you can see that we have the water animation playing, but this is very laggy. So I don't really recommend you using this. Also, you can reduce the texture resolution to 1K, and still it will be a bit more laggy. You can also disable HDR and set this to 512. And now here you can see that the performance is better, but it's still a bit laggy because this is a tube map. You can also use a 2D render target, which will be more performant, but we won't be able to look around. Also, we can have this flat portal like this. We can just add a new material to that, and here you can see that we have a flat portal like this. We can also have this with the material. So this is what we are going to be creating today, and if you want to download the entire project file, you can support me on my Patreon, and for $5 you can download this project file and also the project files from almost all my previous tutorials. And if you already support me on my Patreon, thank you very much for supporting me there. So to make this, first we need to create a material. So I will right click, then material, and I will call this m_portal. Then open it up. Then we need it to be masked. So we have this opacity mask. Then we can set the shading model to unlit. So we don't really want our material to be affected by light. Now we can get a node called radial gradient. So if I plug this into the opacity mask, we will get this circle. And now press and hold S and click. So we have this parameter, we can call this radius. And we can connect this to radius here. And if I set this to 0.45, then we get the same circle. We can increase the radius or reduce the radius like this. Now we need to create the emissive edges. So for that we can press and hold L and click. So we get this blur. So here, if I connect this to the emissive color, you can see that the color inside this is white, and in the edges you can see a bit of black. So this blur, depending on the alpha, either outputs A or B. If the value of the alpha is 1, then the value will be B, and if it is 0, it will be A. Anything in between will be like a mix of both of them. So we can connect this to the emissive color and connect this to the alpha. Now we can get a vector parameter by pressing and holding V and clicking, and we can call this color, and we can connect this to A. Now we can give it a color value like this. So everything is very bright right now, and we don't really have a value for B. So now to connect something to B, we can right click and type in texture, then get texture sample parameter cube, and we can call this cube map. And now connect this to B, so it will show an error. So to fix this error, we can get a reflection vector, then connect that here like this, and now we get something like this. So now in order to control the color value, we can get a multiply and connect this here and connect this to here. Now get a power node and a multiply node. So now I will get another scalar and I will call this power, and get another scalar and call this bias, and connect this here, then saturate that, connect this to here. So now we can see that the color is kind of gone, and now we can connect the saturate to the alpha. Before that we can round this, so the value is either 0 or 1. We don't really want a blend there. Now here we can give a value of 2 to power and 1 to bias. So we get a ring like this, and by controlling these values, we can control the width of the ring like this. And we can increase the color value here like this. So if I increase this, it will look like this. So now we get something like this. Now we need to control the shape of our portal. So here you can see that I don't really have a circular shape or a rectangular shape, but something in between, and we need to be able to control the values. So now we can get a texture coordinate by pressing and holding U and clicking, and we can connect this to the UV, and here we can just type in cosine. So now we get a cosine node like this. So it looks like this, and if you just break this out, you get 2 vertical gradient and 2 horizontal gradient like this. So if I max them both together like this, I get something like this. And now we can just 1 minus this to get a square shape like this. So something with a fall off to the outer edges. So there are multiple ways to create this. You can also use texture if you want, so you don't really have to use all this computation. but with textures there is only so much you can change. Now we can lurk both of them together. So I will just control drag this in here, and I will connect this here, and I will connect this here. So here we have to connect this to B, and for alpha we will press and hold S and click. So we get this parameter, and we can call this shape, and I will set the slider max to 1 because we don't really want this to go beyond 1 or below 0, and we can connect this to alpha. And if you set this value to like 0.5, we get something between a circle and a square, and at 1 it will be square, and at 0 it will be circle. So this is what we want. Now in order to get the distortions, so in order to do that, we can get an add node, and we can just connect this here and connect this here. And now to distort this, we need a normal map. So we can go into the starter content and get the water texture and bring it here, and get a UV coordinate, then get a panel, then connect this to the coordinate and connect this here, and then get a vector parameter and call this speed and connect this to the speed here. Then here we will just mask this. So R and G, because this only has R and G, and we cannot add a 3 vector to a 2 vector. And now we will get another multiply, and we can connect this to B and get a scalar parameter, and we can call this distortion amount. We also need to control the tiling of this, so get a multiply, and we can call this tiling, and I will set this to 1 and connect this here. And now if I set the distortion amount to 1, it will be fully distorted, and the speed to like 1 for green, it will look like this. So here I will set the distortion amount to like 0.2, so we get something like this, and the tiling to 2 also. Now we have something like this. This is a bit too fast, so we can set this to 0.2 and 0.01. I know we can control the size like this or like this, depending on the value here. So I will set this to 2 or 3. I think 3 is better. So now we have something like this. Now we can create our Niagara system. So for that, right click, then effects, then Niagara system, then next, then empty. Then we can call this ns_portal. Then open it up. Now here we can go to emitter state, then life cycle mode, and change this to self, and here go to loop behavior and select once, and loop duration mode infinite. So our particle will last forever. Now go to particle update and untick kill particle when lifetime elapsed. So our particle won't die. Now also tick set infinitively lived particle die when emitter is deactivated. We also need that. Now to actually spawn our particle, go to emitter update, then click this and type in instantaneous and spawn instantaneous, and with a count of 1. So we get this 1 particle. So now go to sprite render, and for the material we can just add in our material like this. So it looks like this. Now we can go to particle spawn, then go to sprite size mode, then select non-uniform, and for the size we can give 250 for X and 450 for Y and 450 for Y, and we can drag our Niagara system in. And here you can see that if I move this, it won't move with this, so we can go back to the emitter properties and tick local space. So this will move with this, and it's very bright right now. So we can create a material instance, then open it up, then add that material instance in. Now we can open the material instance, and here we can select the color to whatever we want, something like this, and then we can control the shape if you want, like this. So we get something that looks like this, or like black, or maybe even white, like this, whatever you want. So now we have something like this. Now in order to change the cube map, we need to create the blueprint. So for that, right click, blueprint, actor, BP portal, then open it up. We can just drag in our Niagara portal like this. We can add a capsule collision, and we can increase its height and also its radius. So we need this capsule so we can dictate when our player hit the portal. Now we need to add a scene capture component cube, and then we need to select that. Then we need to go to this portion, and here we don't really want this to capture every frame, and we don't really want it to capture on movement. Instead of that, we will go to the construction script, then we will drag this in, and here we will type in capture and capture scene, and we can connect this here. So whenever we slightly move our portal, we will capture the image. So in order to capture this image, we need to have a render texture. So in order to get that, go to the content browser, right click, then materials and textures, then cube render target. I will call this CTR map or CRT, then open it up. We don't really want the alpha, so tick compress without alpha, and here the size is really small. We can set this to 1K or 2K. So if you increase the size, it will obviously use a lot of memory, but we are mostly going to use a static texture created from this. So depending on your performance concerns, you can set this to 1K or 2K. I'm going to set this to 2K for now. So it's really huge. I think you could also get away with 1K. And if you want a really good looking result, you need to tick HDR true. And here you can see that the HDR will also use more memory. But if you untick that, the image will look bad. But you can also try that if you want. So now we have this. We need to add that here. So now I will just delete this, and I will bring in our portal baby, and let's see if it is capturing anything. It is not. So there was a small error. So in order to fix that, just turn this both on and just try capturing it. So it will capture a new scene, and after that, if you just turn this off, now no matter where you move, it will capture a new scene. So now we can create a static texture from that, and here now we can add this texture to this map. And here if I press play, you can see that this looks really weird because it isn't going where I want it to go. So now we need to fix that. So to do that, we can go to the material, then here press and hold 1 and click, so we get this constant, and make sure the value is 0, and connect that to the custom world normal and click apply, and now it works. So here you can see that it's bigger because this portal is actually closer to us, but everything else looks fine. And we are not supposed to use this material on this portal, but on a different portal. So now we can just duplicate this and move it somewhere else like this. Oh yeah. So now we will just move it here, and I will just move this down, and then we can just create another static texture. So now we have these two static textures, and we need to set this using blueprint. So in order to do that, we can go to the Niagara portal, and here for the user exposed, we can press this add icon and type in material interface, and I will call this MIC. And now I will select the sprite renderer and then go to material using parameter binding and select MIC. Then we can go to the portal and go to the construction script, then drag in the Niagara portal, and here just drag from this and type in create dynamic material instance. Create dynamic material instance. Then for the parent, we can select this instance and add that here, and we can create a variable from this, and we can call this material instance and set this to public. And now here we can type in set texture parameter value, and that name should be this cube map. So we can go to the material and we need to set this cube map. I will just delete the space between, we don't really need that. So just copy that and paste it here, and then create a variable from it, and I will call this map, and I will also expose this, so we can set this in the editor. So now we need to drag the Niagara particle in, and here we can drag from here and type in set material by name and connect this here and change the name to MIC, and now connect this here. Now click combine and go to the second portal, and here for the second portal, for the map, we can add in the first map we created like this. So it hasn't changed anything. So here we made a mistake. We can just delete that, and here we can drag and type in set variable and select material. So set Niagara variable material and connect this here and change this to MIC. So this is the name we gave here to the user parameter, and then connect this back to the dynamic material instance, then click combine. So now we can just add this in like this. So it's still not working. So it didn't work because here I changed the name, so I removed the space but forgot to apply. So if you hit apply and everything else is set up like this, we can select this and we can just add this here like this. So now we can add a cube map to this one. So the first one should be added to the second one, and here for this one we can add the map from the second one like this. So if I press play, I can look around and I can see the other portal. So I'll just bring it down a bit like this, maybe like this. And here we need to teleport to the other portal, this one. So in order to do that, we can go to the blueprint, then we can go to the event graph, then we can select the capsule component and go to begin overlap. Then here we can type in cast to first person character. So this is the template I am on, the first person character. Then connect this to the other actor. Then we need to create a branch and we need to promote this to a variable, and we can call this scan port Now we need to create a portal target. So for that we can create a variable and we can go to this target. Then here the variable type should be BP portal. So the one we created, the same actor. So we can create a variable in that type, the one we created. Then compile. Then drag that in and drag this and type in set can port. This should be set to no on the target portal, because when we port to that we don't really want to port back to this one. Untick that. So when we hit the target portal's capsule, this will check can port and it will be set to false because we are setting this to false here. And then after a small delay, so it should be a really small delay like 0.02 or something like that, we will just promote this to a variable, so the first person character. And here, and now we need to open up the first person character. And now here we can right click and type in custom event portal 2. Here we can add a vector parameter and we can call this location, and then we can add another parameter and we can call this rotation, and change this to a rotator. And here we can drag in the capsule component and drag this and type in set world location and connect this here and tick teleport and connect this to the new location. And for the rotation, right click and type in get controller, then drag and type in set control rotation and connect this in and connect this here. And now we can go back to the portal, and here we can just drag in the first person character and call. And now we need to compile this and then go here and drag and call. So there is some kind of error, so I will just delete this and type in cast to first person, drag and type in cast to first person. So I think I have a lot of first person character in the project, so I will just rename this a bit. So I will just rename that. I will just rename this to _2. Then I can go here and here I can type in cast to first person character, then this one, then select the one with the 2 because this is a character we are looking for. You may not have to do this in your project because you may only have this one first person character. So you don't really have to rename this. You can just drag and type in cast to first person character. But I think I had many first person characters, so I had to rename that. So it is not a big deal. So you may not have to worry about that. So just as before, connect this here and I will just delete that. And I will just promote this to a variable. And I will delete the old one also. And connect this here. And connect this here. And connect this here. And then drag this in. And type in call. Then call portal 2. Then connect this to this one. And for the location, drag from target and type in get world location, and then you can get the location of the capsule. Then connect this to the location, and for rotation we can right click, then type in get player controller. Then here we can drag and type in get control rotation and connect this one here. So if you are using the portal in the same map, you don't really even have to do this. You only need the location. But since we are also using it for a different map, we need to have this also later. So that's why I'm doing it here also now. So here you can see that after we port, the portal will be set to cannot port. So in the second portal we won't be able to port. So in order for us to port from the second portal also, we need to set this to true. So once we exit the portal, after a while we need to set this to true. So we can go to component end overlap, and here we can just drag this in. So if we end overlap on this first person character, we can now create a custom event, and we can type in show portal, and we can drag in the Niagara system and type in set activate, and we can just tick both of this, and we can drag this in and also set this to true. Now right click and type in custom event, then hide portal, and here we can just drag in the portal again, and here we can type in deactivate. So when we port to the second portal, we don't want to see the portal activated there right away because it will be in our face. So we need to hide that. And now drag this in and then untick this. And here we can just delete this, and we can drag the target and call hide portal. So this can port is also set here with the hide portal. So now connect this here, and so now make the target also publicly editable. Now here we also need to make the target exposed. So when we exit the capsule collision, we need to call the show portal. So here we can drag and type in show portal. Now here select the portal, compile this first, then select the portal, and here we have this target, and select the target to portal 2, and select the portal 2, and here select the target to portal 1. Now if I press play, and I can look around like this, and I can look at this tree and go into the portal and come out like that, and I can do it like this. So now we have a portal working. So now you can see there is some jittering like that. When we move, we need to fix that. So first thing we can do to fix that is going here and setting the delay value to like 0.1, and now compile this, then go to the Niagara portal, and here go to the emitter state and tick loop delay and set this to like 0.5. Now if I press play, I can go into the system like this. So here we will still have this pop-in issue. So in order to fix that, we can go to the Niagara particle, then go to inactive response and set this to kill emitter, and particle die immediately. Now if I press play, we don't have that issue. We can look around, we can go there, we can look around and go there. And now if we need a different look, we can just duplicate this instance, then add that here like this, then open that up, then we can set this to a red color and set the shape to 0.4, so something like this. Then we can set the distortion amount to 0, so we get something like this, or 0.1. So now if I select the second portal, you can see that it is still the same portal. So if you want this, we can just add that here like this. or if you want the older one, we can just select that. So that's how we change it. And here, if you don't want the Niagara portal to face the player all the time, we can just open up the portal, then renderer, then go to sprite render, then select facing mode, then set this to custom facing. Now you can see that it won't face the player, but the back side is invisible. So if you want to fix that, we can go to the portal, then tick two-sided and click apply. So now we will get something like this. Or if you want the back side to be black or something like that, then we can go here and get another lerp and connect this here. And now here we can type in two-sided and connect this to the alpha and connect this to the MC color and click apply. So now the back will be black. So in this tutorial, I don't really want this, so I'm going to set this back. So I will just go here and set this to face camera, and then I will delete all of this, or connect this to emissive and untick two-sided and click apply. So now I get the old one back. And now if you want the real-time rendering, we can go to the BP portal and here go to event begin play, then drag this in, and here drag and type in capture every frame, then set capture every frame and connect this here and promote this to a variable and click the eye icon, so we can select that here. And now here, if I just add the original render target to this one, we still get something like this. But if I select the portal 2 and if I tick capture every frame, and here if I press play, you can see that I am lagging, but you can also see the leaves there moving, so it's real time now. See, you can see the leaves moving there also on the coconut. So I will just set this back. So I will just set this to this one and I will select the portal 2 and untick this. So now the lag is gone, but it will still work. So now we will make it work from two different maps. So for that, I will open up the first person map. Then here I will just duplicate this map and call this portal map 2. Then I can open that one up. And here I will just delete all the portals. And I will delete all of this. And I will just scale it like this, so we can have a different map. Then we can bring in our portal, bring it in here. Now just create a static texture from that. So now in order to make it work with two different maps, we need to store the rotation of our player in a variable. But every variable gets reset when we load a new map in. So in order to have the rotation persistent, we need to save that in the game instance. So for that we need to create a game instance. So right click, then blueprint class, then here type in game instance, then select that. Then I will call this GI portal, then open it up here. Then here for the GI portal, we need to type in custom event, then type in portal, then we need to add a rotation, or here we can add a boolean and we can call this can port. Then we can add another variable and we can change this to integer and we can type in portal ID. Then we can get another parameter and we can call this rotation and change this to a rotator. Then here we need to promote this to a variable, promote this to a variable, and also promote this to a variable. So here we are storing all these three values in the game instance, so it doesn't get reset when we load in a new map. So now in order to add the game instance to the game, we need to go to settings, project settings, then type in game instance in the search bar, and here we need to select the GI portal that we just created. Then we can go to our BP portal. We can add a new variable. We can call this ID. So this will be the portal's ID. ID will help us identify the portal. So if two portals have the same ID, they will port to each other, provided they are on a different map. So we need to compile this. And here we have a portal ID. So if I set this to like 51 or something like that, then we can open up the first person portal and then we can drag in our new portal like this and create a static texture. Then we can select this portal and set the ID to like 51. So these two portals connect to each other. Now we need to go to the portal and we will bring it here and we can move this here and we can type in get current level name. Then we can type in open level by name. So just untick this. Then we can just drag this and promote this to a variable and click the eye icon also. So we can edit this in the editor. So if I press compile and if I select this, we can select the name here. So the name for this portal should be this one because we are porting to that one. So we can select this and paste it here. And here we can drag this and type in not equal to and connect this here and get another branch and connect this to here and connect this to here and connect this to here, then connect this to the condition. So I made a mistake here. We are supposed to type in equal to here. So here drag and type in equal to and connect this to this one and connect this to the condition. So if we are on the same level, then we will port to the portal using the target. And here if you are going to open up a new portal, then we have to give the value to the game instance. So here type in get game instance and we can cast to GI portal. Then here we can call portal. Then this can port should be false and this portal ID should be this ID and the rotation should be the control rotation. And here in the GI portal, this one should be true default. So when we start, we can port. So this should be, we can tick this, so can port. Now click compile. Now we can go to the first person character. Now we can go to the begin play, then get a sequence node. So type in sequence and connect that here. And here we need to right click and type in get game instance. Then type in cast to GI portal. Then connect this here. Then we can get all the variables. So get ID, get rotation, and get can port. So if the can port is true, then we can get a branch and connect this here. And here we can type in get all actors of class. Then this should be the BP portal we created. So if you have a lot of portals, this will be a bit slow. In that case, you need to store the reference to the variable in the game instance. But if you have one or two portals, then this should be fine. Then here we can type in for loop. So this will go through all the portals in that level. Then here we need to get the ID of the portal. Then we need to check with the other ID we got from the other portal. So if they match, we can port to that portal. So if these two IDs match from both the portals, then we can port to that. If they match, then we can do a branch. Then here we can call port 2. And for the location, here we can drag and type in get world location of the capsule and connect this here. And for the rotation, we can just connect the rotation here like this. And here I can select this portal. Then for the map, we can select the map we created earlier. So this one. And then here we can go to the first person map. And this is our other portal. So we can add in the other map here. And here for this, the level name should be the portal 2 that we created. So add that in. So now if I press play and if I go into this, so you can see that we are having an infinite loop. So we need to fix that. So here in the portal, we need to connect this before the open level. So we need to set all the variables up first. Then we will open the level. So one more thing we have to do is that we have to disconnect this and we will check the can port before we check the levels. So we will not have an infinite loop. And one more thing we have to do is that, so here we have to drag this and call hide portal. We will hide all the portals when we are porting in. So now if I press play and if I look at this one, I can port into this. And if I look at this, I can port into that. So now it's working. So if you don't want to have this showing up when you take the screenshot, we can just hide that and then just show the one here. So if I just move this, I will have a new screenshot without those. So now if I go to the second portal, I can add the new texture in. So I can add this texture without all the portals if you want that. So now it's working. So all you have to do is give the level name, then give an ID. So if I wanted to port to something else, so let's say if I want to port to here, I will just create a static texture. Then here I will just select that portal and set the ID to like 21. Then we can open up the first person map. Select the newly created texture, add that. Then this ID should be the one we gave to the other one. So that is 21. So if I press play, if I go here, I can port to the second one. So now here you can see that the second portal is invisible when we port in. So one fix for that is just going to the portal, and we can go here and connect this to here and connect this to the portal here and connect it like this. So only the one we port to is hidden. So if I press play and if I look at this and go here, now both of them are visible. So I can go into this. I will get here and I can look at this and I can go here. So I think that's it for the tutorial, guys. Thanks for watching, and if you want to download the entire project files, you can support me on my Patreon.